Hey there, it's Tia with RiseRelief coming back with another video regarding some student loan news reporting. And so this news that I'm getting ready to deliver is not good news at all. A top educational official says student loan forgiveness is not happening. It is not happening, and borrowers should get ready for repayment. So apparently they're getting ready to get rid of the SAVE Act, sort of convolution that's getting ready to happen for us student loan borrowers, where over the course of the past few years, we were able to go ahead and do PSLF and pay off our student loan debt with a certain amount of terms. And so they're getting ready to get rid of it altogether. And this is very soon. I mean, I'm talking within the next few months. So a top education official, and this is from Business Insider, a top educational official has a message for millions of student loan borrowers. They said, don't count on student loan forgiveness. And this is horrible, horrible news for us, because we all know what's getting ready to happen. So it says, during the conversation at the conservative think tank American Enterprise Institute on Thursday, Undersecretary of Education Nicholas Kent said the administration's key focus is ensuring that borrowers are repaying their loans and have the tools they need to do so. And so their whole point is saying that as we are all sitting under the SAVE Act plan, some of us are not paying down the loans simply because our income is not allowing us to, because our income is so low, in which some of us are at a 0 monthly payment plan, or the payments are extremely low. And so they're saying that we need to get back into paying off our student loans with our regular salary amount, which is going to be very, very difficult for many of us borrowers out there. He says that they're going to provide us with the tools that will help us to pay off the loans. But what tools are those? How are you going to provide tools to help people, millions of Americans, pay off loans, because our particular income is what it is? What type of tools are you going to use? You're literally taking away the tools to help us finance our loans and pay them down at a reasonable status. And so he says the first thing I would say to a borrower is, I'm sorry that you were frustrated, and I'm sorry that you were confused about everything that has happened over the course of the last 5 to 6 years with regard to the federal student loan portfolio, Kent said. And he was referring to the Supreme Court's decision that struck down former President Joe Biden's attempt to forgive student loans broadly for federal borrowers, which he said added to the borrowers' confusion. He also went on to say, what we have been trying to do is explain to borrowers that loan forgiveness is not happening. And this is what he's saying. I will say, Kent, Mr. Kent, are you sorry? Are you really sorry? Because to me, it sounds like you're getting ready to take borrowers into a whole spiraling whirlwind. People are already in default. And so why in the world would you all go to the bat to ensure that these student loans are being paid for by people who don't even have the funds to do so, which is going to cause more people to be in default? You're not sorry, because this makes absolutely no sense. And although you're saying you're sorry, you're not even going to do anything to rectify what's going on. And that is millions of borrowers are in default. And so this is going to make matters worse. You saying you're sorry doesn't make it better for other people, for people who are stuck in this student loan crisis. And so your sorry is definitely not warranted at all, to be honest with you. So the article goes on to say, while the Trump administration has been clear that repayment is its priority for borrowers, which it cannot be, because even if people are in the SAVE plan, they're still not able to afford student loan repayment, which is causing default. How are you guys are saying that you are apologizing and it's a priority for borrowers, but people's pockets don't match what the economy is matching. Okay. It's rare for an official to have wide ranging conversations about recent policy changes and what is in store for borrowers. Kent discussed the elimination of the SAVE income driven repayment plan and utilizing strategies to simplify student aid and more. These strategies are not simplifying anything for anyone. They also intend to focus on Thursday's conversation with the Department of Education's March announcement that it will be transferring millions of student loan accounts to the Treasury Department. So now the Treasury Department is going to be taking over all of the student loans, beginning with 9 million defaulted borrowers. So you have 9 million defaulted borrowers, and now you're going to take away what was helping some of these borrowers to afford loans. And now you're saying, I'm sorry. And you're also saying this is going to be helpful. But that doesn't even make any sense. It's just absolutely ridiculous at this point. Now, Ken goes on to say that there is no better partner than the Treasury to handle collections and manage the 1.7 trillion student loan portfolio. He also recommended that borrowers at risk of default enroll in the new repayment assistance plan that will become available in July. Now, if you want to know more about that payment assistance plan, watch my last week's video, because that's what I talked about. With this plan, they're claiming that's going to help borrowers become strategically and effortlessly able to pay their loans off, which in reality, no, it's not. It's just another euphemism. It's just another title emphasizing how they're getting rid of Joe Biden administration's plans for student loan debt relief. Now, however, education policy experts said that the new plan could stick borrowers with higher monthly bills, which that's it. So you're saying that you're sorry, you're saying it's going to be more beneficial. You already know that this is going to cause more Americans to go into a higher student loan balance and a more default as far as the interest rates are concerned over these loan accounts. This is not going to be helpful to student loans borrowers at all. So it's going to become more fundamentally detrimental to borrowers as a whole. And so y'all are going to see it's going to snowball effect. That's what it's going to do. And then it also says, additionally, former government officials said the shift to the Treasury Department could complicate repayment efforts for defaulted borrowers. I mean, which it will, because we all know that even as they transfer loans from OHELA to studentaid.gov and to the federal department or whatever like that, it just completely was a disaster. It took them about 6 to 8 months for all these loans to roll over. It discounted some PSLF people's terms that they paid over the course of time. It discounted that because the rollover took forever because there are so many people that have student loans. And so this is going to be another tragedy. And so then it says that the partnership with Treasury, in addition to looming repayment changes, is part of the Trump administration's broader goal to prioritize borrowers' ability to make their payment. In September 2025, the department announced it was expanding its ombudsman office to focus on repayment tools, marking a shift from the Biden administration's focus on carrying out broad debt relief. It's just like, I just feel like Trump just completely tries to go against what other previous administrations does. The first time he was around in office, he went against what Obama did. And second time he's around now, he's trying to go against what Biden is doing. And it's just absolutely out of control at this point. And it's just different things that he's doing that if it's not broke, don't fix. And this particular thing for the borrowers and it's not broken. It's a lot of these millionaires on the other side who are in Congress, who are in office, who could afford to go to college, who could afford to pay off their student loans if they had any, who had scholarships. They don't know what it's like to be in student loan debt. And even with just people going through deferment and going through forbearance, all of these loans accrue over time. And when you start out with a $25,000 loan, by the time you're done with it, you're 85, you still owe back money. And so that's what's happening with this. It's the trickery behind the student loans. It's the interest that accrues that are behind the student loans. And that's why millions of borrowers are stuck. And so the article says being in default is not good for a borrower, obviously. Being in default with anything, credit cards, mortgage, whatever, your car loan, all of that is not good for a borrower. It's not good for the taxpayer. It's affecting their credit score. It's making it harder for them to buy a house or lease an apartment or to sometimes rent a vehicle. Can't say it. There are a multitude of tools that we have been working towards launching or have launched to make it easier for borrowers to get back into active repayment. There's no tools that you can do unless you guys change the term on the promissory notes where students at the age of 18 or whatever, however old you are when you go to college, you are signing on the dotted line. Those terms need to be changed and you need to do something about the interest rate. But we already know what interest accrual means. It's more money for whomever is lending out the money at hand. And there are hundreds of borrowers like myself who are part of the SAVE program, who are part of PSLF, where our student loans were consolidated, where if you have 120 consecutive payments, that's over 10 years, and you have reached the goal of 120 payments, you are supposed to get your student loans paid off through the Forgiveness Act. And so I'm at the 120 mark finally. Over the course of the past few videos, I showed you all that I was at 115, where studentaid.gov, they just were behind on keeping up with the count payments. I sent in another PSLF form to my employer. They have updated, and I mean, they did that quickly. It usually takes them weeks, maybe months on end to update the terms. And so I want to show you on my computer that I am at 120 payments now, in which my loan should be paid off at this point. I should have student loan forgiveness by this point. But now here they come with new law that they're bringing in where they're getting ready to get rid of the SAVE Act altogether, and they're getting ready to get rid of PSLF as a whole. So let's go to my computer. Okay, so we're back at studentaid.gov, in which I have been transparent and sharing with you just what the student loan qualifications look like for PSLF and how they utilize just your qualifying payments. And when you get up to 120, then you are able to go ahead and receive student loan forgiveness, just contingent upon some other rules apparently that they have that's underlining that I'm not even aware of. But I just want to show you that I am at 120 qualifying payments finally. It's sitting here. And so we just renewed a form with PSLF for my employer. And they actually updated it, which I was so surprised because it takes them a while to update all of the count payments. But I'm at 120 at this point, which I'm so happy about, which means I do qualify for payment student loan forgiveness right now. And so we just have to see how long it's going to take. This actually happened, it says last updated April 10th. And it is now April the 25th. So this is the quickest I've ever seen them do this in my life. As you can see, my loan balance went up. The last time I showed you this was at 196. It went up some thousands of dollars quickly, $4,000 to be exact, within a month. So this is what we're talking about as far as if you're in an income-based repayment plan, or you're in IDR, income driven, you're in the SAVE Act, monthly payment amount is low, the loan just accrues even more and it just doesn't matter. So this is what happened. I started out again at $60,000, got a master's degree at 20 grand, and now here I am, I'm at $200,000. So it just accrues, and the balance grows and grows and grows over time. And so this is why it just doesn't make any sense that they're getting rid of things that is beneficial for the borrower, but it's not beneficial for them. That's why they're getting rid of it as a whole. And so this is the reason why I started RiseRelief, because we are going to utilize crowdfunding to help one another out. We cannot depend on the U.S. government. We can't depend on other debt relief programs that only give you like 10% to go towards your balance. This is the reason why we have to come together and do this thing. And so what's going to happen is, with the website, you'll sign in, you'll go ahead and get into a queue. You need to donate by adding a contribution to the pool, and however large that pool is, that's the amount of loans we'll be able to pay off over the course of time. And so the goal is to get into the millions of dollars paying off people's student loans. And so just stay tuned, because we are building the company. We are building the website. We are assembling a team together. And so just be patient, because over the course of time, we're getting ready to do this, and this is getting ready to be phenomenal. We got to help each other at the end of the day. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Please like. Please share.